eludes me. Impossible. Impossible. It eludes me.
Hello everyone, welcome to the WRAITH Necromancer guide. This classic is back for Season 2. Remember that Acolyte is probably gonna get reworked in 1.3, so, you know, if you're thinking about playing something else than an Acolyte, this is probably the patch for it. But regardless, this build's still really good, really playable, and really fun. For those who are not familiar with the build, what you do is you convert your raids into flame through idols. You're gonna need 2 of these idols in order to play the build reliably, right? And you're also gonna be using the aberrant call to make sure you have as much raids as possible. The total number you can have is 18 without investing points into the tree. Again, you have your 18 raids, you place Drain Life on top of them, so you generate mana, and you buff them with Dreadshade, and you create this army of like fire crazy guys that just fire non-stop, and they fire so fast and so many projectiles that it ends up looking almost like a beam instead of like fireballs. It looks like a laser. So again, the pros of this con, you know, you can get quite a lot of worth because, you know, you can you're a minion build, you can benefit from a low life setup, which is what we're going for here, or you could even benefit from a Vessel of Strife setup. You know, the minions are ranged, they have pretty good AoE for being minions because they're just locked in place, so you don't have to deal with their targeting and stuff, their movement. It has good scaling, you know, tons of uniques that are good for the build. It has pretty good DPS for a minion, and without snapshotting, of course. And yeah, the cons basically, it's a very active playstyle. You have to be pressing stuff all the time. So if you are the kind of minion player that enjoys the chill playstyle, I recommend you guys to check the Abomination guide that we have. You said, Lizard, why Abomination and not Raid Lord? Raid Lord, we tested it. It's as tedious to play as Abomination, and it does 100 times less damage, right? So if you really want to play Raid Lord because of the power, I recommend you go and check Abomination. It's going to be much more powerful, and honestly, I don't think there's a single reason to play Raid Lord, especially because it needs the helmet to be played. So yeah, let's start with this build, the Flame Raid Guide. Like I said, very important note, we're going to be using Locus of Death that turns them into turrets, so the AI improves, they get a bunch of damage. We're going to be giving them all the crit chance possible, all the damage possible, all the leech possible, so they stay alive while they're attacking. Remember that with Aberrant Cold, with the weapon, your minions are going to be losing HP per second, so it's very important that you give them sustain. So even though they're losing life, they're going to be healing all the time, so you can keep them up. Drain Life is basically your mana battery. If you go for the low life setup, it's very important that you take this note, so you stop leeching from your own minions. But early on, don't take this note, right? Don't take this note, because this is going to be your sustain early on. Once you switch to low life, then you take this note, okay? Again, this note, very important too. We have to gain as much mana as possible with our minions, okay? Dreadshade, classic aura setup. You know, we give them a bunch of damage, we give ourselves a bunch of armor. And yeah, you just go for it. Make the area as big as possible. That way, you know, all your raids that, you know, that are maybe like not as close as yourself get affected by it. Increase AoE basically. Transplant. On this build, we're going to be using on boots, if possible, the minion teleport after you use a traversal skill. Again, now that you can guarantee slams, this is a very important affix to get for the build to feel smooth. Again, it's not mandatory, but it makes, you know, it allows you to be much faster when clearing. So yeah, we're going to be teleporting, we're going to create extra skeletons, bone minions. When these skeletons die, they have a chance to summon Volatile Zombie, right? And when your raids die, you also have a chance to summon Volatile Zombie. So the Volatile Zombies, you know, they keep rocking, you run a Circle of Putrescence ring. So basically, while you're doing all the raid stuff, automatically you're creating skeletons, their skeletons are dying, they create zombies, the raids are dying, and they create zombies. And there's basically all this havoc going on around. And on single target, once you have all your raids set up, as long as they're not dying, you know, they're just attacking the boss or whatever, you can actually manually spam volatile zombies for a lot of extra damage, because they actually do quite a bit of damage, and they have an additional execute. So pretty good, you know. Again, passives, Notable things that you want to get, especially since the addition of Warlock. There's tentative early on if you want to grab Oculus Mind. It's mentioned in the guide, just in case you need mana, right? But on the final setup you don't really need it. So again, keep that in mind, okay? What else? Yeah, it's raids, you know, you grab all the ward retention because you're a low life build. Make sure you grab this ward retention, make sure you grab that ward retention. Grab them all the flat damage possible. This is very strong. Grab them all the crit multi and the crit chance and the lifesteal. And, you know, get yourself a bunch of armor and stuff per minion. And yeah, again, I am debating to switch to a Vessel of Stripes setup just because this region could be really potent with that setup. But I still have to figure out if our EHP will actually increase for the amount of effort that it takes. I'm still debating. We will see over the season. Like I mentioned, Occultist Mind is an option, you know, if you need it. What else? You need, for the gameplay, you're going to be summoning your raids, you're going to buff them with Dreadshade, and then you're going to cast Drain Life on top of the raids, right? Like you saw in the gameplay. That way you're going to generate a bunch of mana. Remember that you can stack multiple Drain Lives on top of the raids, and the more Drain Lives you have, the easier it's going to be to make sure that Contempt is always up. You always want to have different sources of Drain Life hitting different groups of minions, so Contempt is always up. As you can imagine, 50% all resistance that can have 100% uptime makes the gearing of this build very easy, right? Because you basically get all your resistances for free with this. So learn to manage this buff and make sure that when you open up your stat sheet and you learn to keep it active and you get familiar with the timings and all that. Again, you just summon as much raids as possible, and when you reach the raid limit, you just go for zombies, and that's it, pretty much. Let them cause havoc. Again, for uniques, you know, classic Death Rattle, you know, anything that gives us ward is going to be welcomed. All the low life items are going to be welcomed. Obviously, Juldra's Obsession, it's a classic. Again, remember that in the gearing section you have the beginner setup. These always come with 1 LP. That's why on the planner they show with 1 LP, even though on the starting planner they cannot have LP. They drop from Juldra, tier 3, as you know. And yeah, I mean, and eventually you can just get very, very crazy LP stuff on this kind of gear and get really crazy when it comes to HP and stuff and worth. Pantheon Grip, pretty good for the levels, pretty good for the flat crit, and Circle of Putrescence help us keep the zombies spawning, you know, so we always have a zombie going on and we have the execute at hand and it generates ward when they die, so they help us with sustain a lot to the zombies. And yeah, you know, it's a classic build, you know, nothing much new for this one. We're going for Strand of Souls because ward retention got nerfed through intelligence, so this is to help with that. And again, it's just ward on potion. It's just a good option. What else for scaling? Again, just minion stats. On this minion build, we can't really snapshot because obviously the raids just die, so snapshotting doesn't make sense on this build, and that's why in terms of damage, it's not gonna be comparable to something like, again, Abomination or Crows for Beastmaster or whatever, right? But still, you know, pretty ethical build, pretty good build. And if you like the playstyle, it's still a very solid option. Again, like I said, you probably want to wait playing Acolyte till Season 3, because they have announced that, you know, they're going to be working on it, and I'll doubt, like, Necromancer is not going to get some bluff. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the build. Not much changes on this one, but, you know, we're updating it like always, and yeah, follow for more builds and all that. I hope you guys enjoy it.
It eludes me. eludes me. It eludes me. Impossible. It eludes me. Impossible. It eludes me. It eludes me. Impossible. It eludes me.
Freedom at last! I did.
It eludes me. Impossible. It eludes me. Impossible. It eludes me. Impossible. Impossible. It eludes me. It eludes me.